Hello everyone, Mark91 here with the third video in my Dungeons & Dragons basic game journal. If you were wondering what I was standing up for, there's a lamp over there, which usually is shining bright on that wall over there, really illuminating it and just not being very good on the screen. Very bright behind me, it doesn't work too well. Okay, the second session. This time we did the third and fourth encounter. It took us longer this time. It's around almost half 12, half midnight. And we started around 7, so it took us about 4 hours this time. But of course the encounters were longer this time. We've managed to get the third and fourth. I think I said that. It is late, so okay, yes. The third encounter was one that required a bit more thinking, and they did start thinking more because they entered a crypt room where there were 4 coffins, one of which was broken, and an altar from which a strange glow was coming, which was also emanating from the coffins, and there was a dead orc in the room. So they move in a bit, they inspect the corpse, find it has been killed by a slashing weapon, a sword or something like that. My father immediately wants to check out what's inside one of those coffins, so he starts attacking it, damaging it but not destroying it. He didn't even get to destroy it. The other ones wanted to search the other chests without breaking them to it. So the fighter was attacking one of the coffins. The other ones, the rogue was examining the orc's corpse, and the elven cleric, the wizard and cleric, were trying to search the other coffins, which they both failed at. After that, I should have immediately activated the monsters after that turn, but I forgot that. I'll really need to read through the books more before the sessions. On the first time the monsters get controlled, or I have my turn, I should have placed a skeleton on the board and placed the orc mauler miniature on board as an undead zombie, an orc zombie. So yeah, they got fighting to that. The altar, which was covered with demonic symbols and icons, with a big red gem in it, which looked like an eye. It just shelled out from, the sacrifices has arrived. I will feast on blood and flesh and blood, or blood and flesh, I believe. So yes, combat got started. The skeleton spawned on top of the first of the 3 intact coffins, shadowing it in progress. So they got to fighting to that. The skeleton had resistance to slashing weapons, and the fighter was right next to it. It just popped up right in his face. So he striked, got some damage on it. Skeletons don't have that much health, but they have resistance to slashing weapons, as I said, making it harder to kill with slashing weapons. And 2 of the characters use slashing weapons. So they attack, deal damage. They get zapped, they get zapped by the altar, which is home to a demon, which can attack every turn, but only in straight lines. For example, here is the altar, and then it can attack in a straight line like this, and in a straight line like this. It's 2 squares, but it can also attack diagonally from both of the squares and hits everything in that line, in those lines. It can only attack in one line, of course, and it deals you need to roll the four-sided dice and add 4 to that, so that's very powerful. They can roll reflex on that, a reflex save on that. Yeah, in total the demon got to attack twice. The first time it got 2 of them, the rogue and the wizard. They were in the firing line. But they both got their saving throws, and so it dealt a decent amount of damage, but it wasn't devastating. The second time was a full frontal blast to the fighter, who took an immediate 8 damage and died a couple of rounds later. But going to add to that, they were attacking the skeleton a bit more because the skeleton can move and attack. The zombie can only move or attack in its turn. So yeah, they smashed down the skeleton after a couple of times while running away from the zombie, giving it a hit every now and then, until it ran into the fighter, in which he just killed it. During this session I had the attack of opportunity in place, so they couldn't run past any of the monsters. They didn't do that, so there weren't any attacks of opportunity during this session. So they killed the skeleton, finished their rounds, and in my next round as the dungeon master and the monsters, another skeleton pops up from the second coffin. So they have to fight that one again. So they killed that a bit in the same turn. That I think, well, around the same turn they also killed the zombie. So they got rid of him as well. The zombie had resistance to blunt weapons, and the cleric tried to attack it, so he also got decreased damage. But the fighter killed him in the end, because slashing weapons don't get damage reduction on it. So yeah, they got rid of the zombie and the skeleton, and the final skeleton popped up, and they were practically all standing around it, or close to it. The fighter was at the other side of the room. The others, the rogue, wizard, and cleric were on this side fighting that skeleton, and the fighter didn't go over there, else he would have been in the firing range of the altar demon. So yeah, they got rid of the last skeleton, and then they turned their attention to the chests that were in the room, which got them a couple of spell scrolls, magic armor, a healing potion, and something else. So yes, a ring of defense, or ring of protection. It was just called a magic ring, which increased the armor class by 2. The rogue got it, bringing his up to 18. So yeah, then they turned their attention to the altar demon. Fighter charged right in front of it, attacked it, dealt a small amount of damage, and then got blasted by the energy blast from the demon, which I described earlier, killing him. Not really killing. Because it is our first game, when an adventurer gets their health dropped to 0, I just considering them as dying, so they can be healed and pop back up. So yeah, he got taken out, and then they got to then they started planning a bit. I had given a hint about them being able to get rid of the altar demon, which had a pretty good armor class and a lot of health. I gave them a hint to another way to get rid of him, which was with the rogue's disable device. I believe in one of the chests they found some tools. They found that in the next encounter. The tools give a bonus to the disable device and open lock skills, I believe. So yeah, the fighter is dying in front of the altar, and they're all out of range from the, and they make a plan of action what to do. they were planning on the mage using uh, the on they were planning that the rogue would go in and attempt a attempt to use his disable device skill to take out the demon, to get to pry the gem loose and get rid of the demon, kill the demon. They were still at the cleric's turn at the end of the previous turn by that. So the cleric used a guidance spell which gave the rogue a +1 bonus to his next roll, be it attack, save, or skill. So, and they had plans that in the next turn the rogue would attempt to disarm, and that the mage would use a daze spell on the altar to to stun it so it couldn't attack in its next turn. And then the cleric would run in and heal up the fighter so he could fight again in case the rogue failed. Yeah, they tried it, and the rogue rolled a clean 20 on the disabled device, taking out the demon in one go. So yeah, that was done. They got experience, found some stuff. They found a letter addressed to some Minotaur king, telling them that Tusenmog was pleased with him allying the Minotaurs with the dragon. Tusenmog found some gold. The rogue kept it all because he found it, and he's a jerk and a coward. Next encounter started with some double doors blocking the way, similar to the very first encounter. But when they tried to open it, it sprung a trap, damaging the rogue. It didn't manage to dodge it, so it took, well, I don't remember if he managed to, if he failed or succeeded in his saving throw. I think he failed, because he failed his search roll, that's for sure. So he got damaged from that, and then they tried. Then they opened the door, and a skeleton jumped out of the rubble right next to it. I should have left the doors closed there, but I removed the counters. And it was also described in the book that when someone opens the door, the goblins in the next room immediately catch sight of them and raise the alarm for each other and start to attack. That didn't happen until they passed through the doors. Man, that was a mistake on my behalf. So yeah, some goblins, some chests. They take care of the goblins, search the chest, find some healing potions, and then they prepare for the next set of double doors, which were locked and not trapped. They were kind of discussing whether to try and break the door down, or just open it with open lock. They had found some tools to help with the opening of the lock. I had to explain how to break doors down again. I had to explain a couple of things again. Yeah, long story short, they tried to bash it a couple of times. They tried to unlock it a couple of times, and I just said, "Screw it! Open the doors." They were trying they were trying to so long the locks just rusted out. So doors open and they enter a room with a big red floor in the middle, and a Minotaur at the other side, and a goblin archer hidden around the corner. So yeah, they immediately suspect something is up with the floor, so they avoid that. Then I moved the monsters after they were done with their moves, which were just getting closer. The rogue had to face reloading the hard way. Need to speed it up. In short, I tricked them into believing that the Minotaur was slow, so they were thinking I couldn't reach them, and all of a sudden it goes 6 paces and stands right in the face of the rogue, hits him. Well, I think I missed that one. Then they were started all scattering around. Some of them went on the red red floor, which would make them get 1 more damage if they were hit by an attack. It would also count for an attack on the Minotaur or anything else on the floor, on the red floor. Run around a bit. I managed to take down 2 of the characters. The cleric and the wizard, but they eventually just killed the Minotaur by whittling down its health. that's about it. Next time, see if Greed